And hello, all my fellow nerds out there. This is Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back once again to Danganronpa Lapse. So last time we completed Chapter 1, and now we're moving on to Chapter 2. And, and honestly, if you don't know what happened in Chapter 1, I recommend you go back and watch the other videos first before watching this one. But you have to promise that you're going to come back to this one once you're done. And anyways, thanks so much for watching, and let's get right into the video. A deep, pulsing darkness filled every crevice and fold, bleeding through razor-thin cracks. Drifting unevenly between a nauseating black sea and its stifling, destitute vacuum. Obscurity murmured and bubbled beneath the heavy velvet pall. Competing vibrations through the void pounded and shook the air with a stiff, rich chord. The staccato hummed echoed, threatening to break the eclipsing shadow. Echo, echo, echo! Ouch! Out of my eyes, a swift and sharp pain struck my face. Hey, what gives? Missy was standing over me, hand poised in a way that suggested she was the one who had firmly woken me up. Sorry, Echo, but I had to wake you up. I shook you, but you didn't react, so... I blinked several times as I rubbed up my left cheek, my vision adjusting to the surroundings. It seemed I was in either Missy or Ashley's personal room. Sat up in the bed to see Ashley sitting at the foot of the bed, just in front of me. Missy was on my left in a spare chair. Ashley, Missy, what happened? Well, for starters, it's about 9:15 p.m. You seem to have passed out after the trial earlier this evening. Ashley and I were concerned, so we have been monitoring you to make sure you were safe. However, I was worried. You stopped breathing in your sleep. I stopped breathing? I can't have you leaving us so shortly after we lost our other two friends. I hope that your newfound title of Ultimate Memory does not begin to fail you so soon. Ultimate Memory? Pine, Ultimate Memory. Wow, Chapter 2, we finally get an introduction to Echo. Day 3. That's right. Just yesterday, I thought I was an ordinary student with no extreme talents or skills, and yet, in the courtroom, a revelation came to light, and I was given the unique title of the Ultimate Memory. But whatever that entailed, I wasn't too thrilled. Because despite that revelation, it wasn't the strangest thing to occur. I bit back my words in tears, thinking about Pandora and art. The truth was hard to swallow. Throughout the trial, many of us struggled to find footing. In the discussions, none of us wanted to believe any of it. The murder. And following it, the execution. The three of us sat in silence, haunted by the dark happenings in the courtroom. I looked solemnly at the other two. Missy and Ashley's faces told all, a tapestry of remorse and distress. Well, what's important is that you're all right now, Echo. Yeah, thanks, you two. I'm relieved. Ashley's voice was a whisper. First the door trap, and then this. We exchanged a few words, but we know from emotion alone how heavy our hearts weighed. Missy breathed a tense sigh. Just the other day, Missy was so composed, but now, voiceless iron curtain hung over us. There were so many things to address, but fear choked our dialogue. I looked up to meet Ashley's tearful gaze, and looking just past her, I saw something bright sitting in the cabinet in the corner of her personal room. It was a helmet. Ash? Hmm? Well, what is it, Echo? That helmet over there. When we first met up, I remember you saying you didn't have any personal possessions, but... ah, yeah, I didn't mention it on the first day. I didn't want to talk about it then. Sorry, you don't have to. No, I think this should be brought up. Ashley's face sunk. She turned to face the cobalt blue item. I'm sure you can recall what I told you about the person this helmet belongs to. I nodded gently, and Ashley sighed deeply. Missy was quiet, politely listening. I got in a fight with my friend, another alternate student, Silva Prower, the race car driver. That fight was about the very preservation project we are involved with now. The project was but a low whisper among alternate students. Word was that we would be offered state-of-the-art living and protection, seeing our talents would be of a great worldly benefit. As soon as I received my offer to join, I couldn't say no. I asked Silva if he had accepted as well, but Silva declined, wholly disagreeing with the offer vehemently. He doubted the validity of a private group that only consists of hopeful hearsay of strangers. But what position was I to deny safety when it had been offered so graciously? With our differing opinions on the matter coming to a clash, he eventually gave up on me entirely. Yet against his wishes, I made attempts to get his name in. And look where we are now. Ashley began to tear up and buried her head in her hands. I'm such an idiot. Her voice trembled. Ashley, you are not an idiot for caring about a friend's well-being. I, I, I was foolish thinking the killing game would go away if I removed Echo from being involved in my troubles. Being involved with alternate students only leads to alternate levels of trouble. But I was wrong for thinking I could shoulder tragedy on my own. Ashley looked at me with pleading eyes. They were filled deep with sorrow and regret. I'm sorry, Echo. I realize now that it's more important than ever that we stick together. She grasped my hand firmly, but her own hands were shaken from fear. It was only natural. I felt a tear fall from my face onto the back of Ashley's hand. Misty's voice slipped in. Why don't we get something from the dining hall to unwind? Everyone seems rather tense, and I think taking a beat could help us de-stress. Huh? How could you think of getting a snack at a time like this? I heard my voice cry in desperation. Pandora and Art's lives were just taken away. I'm sorry, but I don't think we're of sound mind right now. That's right. We shouldn't waste time doing nothing. Then what would you suggest we do? We we need to escape. Missy, you're the ultimate tactician. I'm begging you. Come up with something, anything, any sort of plan to get us out of here. What's the point of ultimate talents if we can't do anything with them? Missy flinched. She looked away, attempting to hide her reaction. I realized what I just said. I I'm sorry. I went too far. Echo, it's fine. However, Missy's words betrayed her emotions. She must have felt tense after everything as well. But she tried to retain her composure nonetheless. Uh, Honestly, it took me this long to realize that her glasses are three different colors. I didn't even notice that. I let out a deep sigh. I'm sorry for losing my temper. You're right. A snack would help clear my head. Missy. Missy's expression eased, but she said nothing. Rather, she slowly got up and offered a hand for me. She helped me out of bed, but then we quietly made our way to the dining hall. The halls were eerily quiet, as if even sound were draped underneath the shadow of the evening lighting. In the dining hall, we saw Forte sitting in his lonesome. Evening, folks. Forte's voice was a low mumble, his posture stone. He sat with hands clasped on the table, resting just before the dining table centerpiece, Pandora's basket of pastries. Oh. Missy's idea of a snack was quickly dashed when we were met with the memento of Pandora. My stomach was twisted. Are you alright, Forte? The answer was plainly painted on his face. No one was of sound mind after what we just witnessed. Even though he didn't answer outright, the question alone gave him a bit of comfort. Indeed, it will be a while yet for me to come to terms proper, but closures and Jose après un shoot. Huh? Always rise after a fall. Always rise? Pain exists so we can grow and learn from it. What we do with this feeling of misfortune is what will motivate us to move forward. We learn from tragedy and grow forward. It's really all we can do. I must imagine our was deserted. Regardless, his generous fixings, being driven into companionless corner like that would make anyone miserable. And being here now, with our friends Missy and Ashley, as well as the others, should teach us that we have friends all around us who would feel anguished without one another. Alas, it's hard to think clearly when your mind has been clouded by despair. I feel terrible for Art, his swirling, desolate emotions pushed too far. I wish to make it known that I care for you all deeply. Forte's melancholic voice stung my heart. Missy and Ashley themselves had a wistful look in their eyes as they nodded in essence. We hardly knew each other, but we could feel the bond of our adversity bringing us to get closer together. Our camaraderie knit together by taut strings of fear. If I may, as a precaution, I suggest no one travel alone. It's too dangerous to be without a witness in the event something were to happen. It's not a thought I wish to entertain, but such steps may be necessary if we're going to be at the forefront of the killing game's unpredictability. I agree, and not only that, Cyrus's intense behavior could pose a potential problem. Huh? What about Cyrus? What happened with Cyrus? Well, after the trial, you recall what Zero said, correct? Yeah? Cyrus Surik is someone to be wary of? Ultimate Charisma is a terrible cover talent. After you collapsed, he started acting suspiciously. It seems I've garnered some distrust among you all. No thanks to that lousy Zero. Cyrus, what is Zero talking about? There's no use hiding it. I think a reintroduction is only appropriate. Cyrus Surik, ultimate confidential informant for the Preservation Project. You're the Preservation... You're with the Preservation Project? Of course. I routed you all here after all. So what's with the facade? You're in this game too after all. Did you think you could keep the niceties all the way through? That's for me to know. And all you need to know is this. You were all doomed from the moment you set foot here. I know for a fact. Nothing you do will save you from this game. And then he crept out of the courtroom, leaving us all confused, to say the least. After that, Missy and I rushed you to my room so you could get your rest. Say and Cannon have been unresponsive all evening. I don't know how Lyle is faring, but he is likely in similarly despondent shape. They've retired to their rooms, as far as I know. However, if anyone would like to explore, find a partner and keep yourself safe. I cannot guarantee everyone's safety, nor can I force everyone to follow my lead, but I hope you know I wish for everyone's safety. Missy was strained. She wished to protect everyone, but it was difficult since none of us knew what would happen next. I'm awfully curious about something though. As we were returning to the foyer from the courtroom, I noticed that there was a button on the third floor lit in the elevator. For the third floor in the elevator. Third floor? I saw it too. Missy, did you want to investigate the third floor? It's late, but I did want to make a brief round to see what's in store for us. I'll come with you. Echo, did you want to go back to your room for some proper rest? I imagine you've been quite fatigued lately. Um, my stomach was in a knot. I didn't want to leave Ashley. No, it's fine. I'll come with you. I feel kind of restless anyway. Walking around could help. Okay, don't push yourself, alright? I nodded slowly. If you folks are going to explore, would you mind seeing me off to my living quarters? Ashley and Misty obliged, and we all left for the dining hall together. In the foyer, we saw Forte off as he retired for the night to his personal room. Entering the elevator again, we traveled to the third floor that had recently opened up. After a low rumbling, the elevator stopped, revealing a new area. Ooh! A digital kiosk was just outside the elevator, displaying a map of the grounds as we approached. The third floor hall lead towards a single main hall and that split into 4 rooms, 2 on each side. Wait, garage, art gallery, smokehouse lounge, casino. And then there's living quarters. 4 new activity amenities are available to us. On the left, there's a smoke lounge connected to a casino, and on the right, there is an art gallery connected to a garage. But of course, they're closed to us from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. However, Missy's voice trailed off. I followed her gaze in the smaller hallways that surrounded the perimeter of the main activity rooms. Familiar doors dotted the hallway. An unknown school emblem decorated the door, but Missy's eyes were transfixed on one. That's... And Ashley herself was looking at another door that bore a similar emblem on it that he had seen in the race car helmet earlier. Huh? There was another full set of personal rooms on the third floor. Missy and Ashley looked at each other with astonishment. They quickly ran to their respective doors, but before they could do anything... I see you've met the rest of your classmates. His flat, disembodied voice sent a chill up my spine. The two of them swung around to see Cyrus in the dark corner of the hallways. Cyrus continued, disregarding Missy and Ashley's grim faces. It's too late. Silva and Darling, they're out of the picture. Ashley and Missy reacted to their respective names. I remember Ashley telling me about Silva, so the other unknown was relation to Missy. The atmosphere was suddenly heavy with paralyzing glares that sent every which way. Why do you know this? What exactly do you plan to do with these threats? He shrugged indifferently, unconcerned with answering the questions tossed his way. Cyrus, who are you? I am the Preservation Project's informant. I was chosen to handpick the class that appears for this game. His leering eyes pierced the very air between us. But Echo Pine, they're different. I was immobilized by the sudden mention of my name. I didn't even know if I was breathing. The three stood at stalemate, a palpable dread radiating from the deadlocked eyes. Please, stop your facade. Facade? You all heard Zero in the trial. The Cyrus you knew before wasn't the real me. He blew my cover, so I'm here in full form. Cyrus let his threat linger. The extreme potential for disaster amassed a lead weight at the bottom of my stomach. Missy and Ashley closed in on either side of me, bracing themselves against his possible machinations. We just sulked away. Cyrus's husky low laugh melting into the darkness. I was dizzy with fear, but Missy's firm voice kept me grounded. Hurry, let's return to the living quarters. She grabbed my hand, leading me through the dark towards the elevator that was some ways behind us. We hustled to the elevator and rode back to the main foyer. Back in the foyer, a soft light from the chandelier glittered delicately, lighting the main hall. There we crossed paths with Cannon, who was isolated in the foyer once again. Cannon? Ashley's voice was a whisper that didn't seem to reach Cannon's ears. We slowly approached her and saw her cold expression, but her face gave off a different demeanor somehow. Rather than an icy gaze, we were met with a stony, soulless stare. Cannon, are you alright? I saw her come to, her eyes softening as she turned towards us. She murmured a quiet affirmation. Her cold exterior melted into a brief moment of vulnerability. Then my curiosity got the better of me and I capitalized on the brevity of silence. Cannon, I have to know. Why did you run away when I collapsed from electrocution? It's only natural to feel fear when you see someone get hurt. Huh? I was frightened. It's odd. I wanted to leave this mansion as soon as I woke up, but something stopped me. She gripped the instant camera she had hung on to a short wrist strap. When I woke in my personal room, with only this camera in my possession, I couldn't help but feel unnerved. So I stood in the foyer, wanting to leave, but unable to due to a mysterious bad feeling. As it turns out, that feeling was right. After I saw you scream and collapse, my suspicions were confirmed, but I didn't know what to do. I waited for anyone to come and see, so you could handle it, so they could handle it. Forte. You know what happens from there. I left someone else to help you because I didn't want to deal with that event. Although her face was no less intelligible than before, her voice was shaking. She was just as scared, if not more, than I was. She desperately wanted the project to protect herself from being the one who would point out the culprit as long as possible, knowing she couldn't delay the inevitable revelation. Cannon sighed heavily. Excuse me, I'm going to bed. Cannon briskly walked towards the living quarters. Missy and Ashley gave Cannon a soft goodnight as they retired for the night. When none left to do in the dark of the night, I followed suit in our individual rooms. She stopped me for a moment in the living quarters hall. Echo, let's take care of each other, yeah? Of course. That doesn't need saying. What? Ashley mumbled something but cut herself off. Instead, she just gave me a hug. I closed my eyes and allowed myself to be swathed in the comfort of her embrace. Good night, Echo. Good night, Ash. Entering my personal room, I felt more alienated. This personal room. His comfort and luxury must have been fabricated, creating a false sense of comfort. And behind that sense of comfort, a facade of terror and malice was hiding, a killing game with no remorse for participants. I shook the nerves out and collapsed on the bed. I want to go to bed for a long, long, long time. Exhaustion overcame me and another day would come to pass. Damn, I honestly feel bad for these people. Day 4. Chapter 2. Every fire is a lesson learned. I opened my eyes to the sound of knocking. Pardon me, but good morning. It's Missy Vespa. Outside for Echo? I look at the time. 7:29. Good morning, Missy. I'll be right out. Take your time. I stopped the alarm before it rang and made myself presentable. Stepped out of my personal room to greet Missy. I noticed she was clutching a small item folded in cloth. Before I could ask about it, she started through the halls and I followed alongside her. What's going on? I'm gathering students for a personal announcement. I'll elaborate when we arrive in the foyer. She raised a small item indicating it was going to be a subject of her meeting. You're the last student I approached. Those who won't be present did not answer when I knocked. However, when I approached Sei, she replied through the door that she wasn't going to move at all. She said that if she was going to die, it would happen regardless of what she did. What? It was shockingly fatalistic thing to say, but I wasn't going to force her out. That girl, Sei worries me. Do you think she'll do something dangerous? I'm sorry, I meant that I worry for her well-being. I do not wish to be too demanding in case she may be offended or take it the wrong way, but Missy sighed. She seemed upset that she couldn't do anything to help. She couldn't do anything to help Sei. I'm sure Sei appreciates the sentiment. We just do what we can, right? I apologize. You're absolutely correct. Missy's expression eased as we finally arrived at the main foyer. In the foyer, I saw a small group of students Missy gathered. The group was comprised of Forte, Canon, Ashley, Missy, and myself. So Lyle, Cyrus, and Sei couldn't make it. I'm not surprised Cyrus is absent given his behavior last night. And Lyle should be a person of concern as well, since he was so distraught from the conclusion we came to discovering art was the culprit behind Pandora's death. Art just wanted to protect us. It's not his fault. Pandora had an incredibly suspicious note. I don't imagine seeing her with a note helped, what with his head being so full of distress. That note is fairly damning. I never would have thought she would be in possession of such an oddity. But despite that, I feel like she had good intentions behind it. He specifically pulled me aside that the night before to ask if I knew anything about the contents. That doesn't seem like something a mole would do, right? We pondered the source of the note, but we couldn't presume much about it without the strange item in our hands. Our morning was already off to a rocky start. Ah, that brings me to what I have gathered you all here for. Missy had the floor, taken place facing the elevator, at the centerpiece of the table, while the rest of us were encircled the opposite side. Please do not be alarmed when I show you this. She placed a small cloth wrapped item that she'd been carrying on a wooden table. It was a revolver with a note. Missy, what's the meaning of this? I told Echo before. I will reiterate for the rest of you as well. I have plans to contribute my skills to the preservation project prior to the events of arriving here. However, upon arrival in my personal room, I found this revolver. Read the note tied to the handle. Cannon looked over carefully and read from afar. As a student interested in working with the preservation project, one must attempt their hand in a single round of reverse Russian roulette. We believe every ultimate student should they be destined to live and change the world, will surpass the incredible game of chance no matter the odds. Reverse Russian roulette? Game of unbelievable chance. 5 out of the 6 chambers in a gun are occupied with a bullet. The player is to spin the chamber and lock the chamber in. Place the gun barrel against their own head. Hold the trigger and hope to survive. Without the knowledge of whether or not a bullet will be fired, your life is in the hands of fate. Huh? That's absurd. What are the possible odds of someone surviving that? I mean, considering it's a revolver and it only has 6 shots, I'm pretty sure it's a 1 in 6 chance, right? The odds are far too high to take a chance on. One would have to be inconceivably fortunate. You didn't play, right? Who would dare risk such a gamble if they were not certain they would survive? Missy's jaw clenched. Did she really not play the round? That said, I'm showing my hand because I want to suspend my disbelief. Huh? I sincerely want to trust you all, so I hope you can trust me well after I've revealed this wretched thing. I wish for you to believe that no danger is to be contrived from me, as I have no intent to harm any of you. She carefully folded the cloth back over the revolver. Have any of you heard of a concept called the Stockdale paradox? I can't say that I have. I'll explain. It's a philosophy of duality. Named after a presidential candidate, the Stockdale paradox is a concept in which one must never lose faith that they will prevail in the end, while still confronting the cruel facts of their reality. It is a paradox of the self. An individual has to be able to balance the horrors of reality with the optimism of success to truly be able to overcome the worst situations. This mindset, the acknowledgement of two opposing sides, is paramount in achieving one's goals. One mustn't get so hopeful they ignore the gravity of their grave surroundings. In our case, we must balance the hope that we will escape the clutches of this place against the despair of ultimate death within the walls. The four of us were petrified. Hope? Despair? It was hard to process. Thank you for placing trust in us, Missy. We will not let you down. Cannon remained silent, but nodded in agreement at Forte's statement. Thanks, Missy. You're risking a lot, but if none of us plan to kill, then there really shouldn't be anything to worry about. Of course there shouldn't be anything to worry about. We're all responsible people, but fear is a powerful tool. By showing you this item and telling you my intentions, I hope to dispel any fear among us. I see. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. I couldn't believe how bold Missy was being. She could have easily left the gun in her room, out of sight, essentially out of our realm of existence, where no one could have caused harm with it. But she was venturing with high hopes that our group truly had no ill will. Everyone agreed, no one would dare fire the gun. Even so, in a game of killing, a weapon presented itself seemingly out of nowhere. Stranger so, it seemed like some students were left some sort of item in their rooms upon waking up. First, Cannon remarking upon her camera, then Ashley having Silva's racing helmet, and finally Missy with a revolver. But I also recall Forte having something that was seemingly out of place from the mansion. When he took care of me after I was shocked, he had a sheet music, right? That's right. He was leafing through some sheet music. I wonder, what was the meaning of this? As they pondered the strange trend, the sound of glass shattering filled the room. Our group glanced at each other for a moment before running off to the source of the sound. Through the dining hall into the kitchen, the sound persisted louder and louder. There we found Lyle in the kitchen itself, a state of disarray. Broken glass and battered metal littered the floor as Lyle clutched the metal pipe, aiming for the oven. Lyle, what on earth are you doing? Have you lost your mind? What's it look like I'm doing? I'm testing the rules. The rules state that we are not to damage major assets, yet here I am, breaking everything. And so far, nothing has happened. Don't you understand? The rules aren't enforced. Art wouldn't have had to kill Pandora. He wouldn't have had to die by our vote. In the circumstances of a game, rules are placed to create restrictions, and yet there's no arbiter or custodian or mastermind here to push us for breaking the rules. So why should we be following the rules in the first place? We thought our lives were threatened since we were trapped by this electrocuting door. Did that even actually happen? What do you mean? Of course that happened. Why would I lie about something like that? You were the one who was afflicted by it. For all I know, Echo, you're the mastermind behind all of this. You collapsed, and Forte, in his good natured heart, came running to your aid. That collapse could have been entirely fake. Because of that, we were simply trapped by our own fears. Be that as it may, the fact remains that the door was armed and is currently barricaded. There, there can be no reason for that. Despite Forte's observation, Lyle ignored him. He was completely absorbed in his thoughts. Arts didn't have to die. He didn't have to die. He didn't have to die. He was muttering to himself as his grip tightened on the pipe. Lyle's eyes gleamed with intent. Those enraged eyes locked onto mine as he dropped the pipe, the metal crushing the glass debris to dust. I'm not going to die. Not after him. With impeccable timing, the announcement rang through the halls. It is now 9 a.m. And welcome to day 4 of 7. We're already halfway through. How exciting! However, there are far too many people alive right now. We need to fix that. Today's forced motive question is: do you believe your talents can benefit all of humanity? Yes, as ultimate students at the top of your field, society will expect you to contribute yourselves and respective talents to the world as a whole. Ponder this question as we set up our next motive for you all. Coming soon to ultimate students everywhere. I listened to the announcement best I could, but the rest of the group paid no attention. Instead, they were trying to calm Lyle after his spiel. Lyle, we want to leave too, believe me. But we should put our heads together and come up with a plan instead of wrecking everything. No, you'll only get in the way. Lyle aggressively pushed his way through us, leaving the dining hall for the foyer with Missy giving chase. Lyle, shut up! I alone will piece together the secrets of this awful killing game. If I'm not the ultimate puzzle master. Cyrus was right. If I don't act now, nothing will get done. You spoke to Cyrus? I ran into him this morning in the kitchen. He doesn't concern me in the slightest. With how Cyrus is behaving, there's no telling what will happen next. You really ought to be careful around him. Lyle ignored Missy's plea and marched over to the elevator, slamming the buttons. He turned around and held up a fist with a crumpled piece of paper in it. I swear I will find the other person who knows the secrets of this note. That's the only clue Art left me, and damn it, I will do whatever it takes to get to the bottom of this. Lyle gave us one last parting glare before entering the elevator. Click. The elevator door was closed, leaving the rest of us in a state of bewilderment. With Lyle on edge as it is, a talk with Cyrus sounds like a recipe for disaster. What do you suppose he's going to try now? I can only surmise Lyle is going to the third floor to scour the area for other students. It's a new location that needs to be turned over after all. Forte and Missy sighed in unison. Let us hope he doesn't do anything reckless. Just after Forte said that, I heard footsteps at the top of the stairs. Cyrus. Cyrus replied in a nonchalant manner, but his face was different. In the light of day, Cyrus's expression was twisted and something disconcerting. Missy and Cyrus exchanged fierce looks once more, only this time the two of their emotions were catalyzed. Before we could react, Missy moved swiftly to pursue Cyrus at the top of the stairs. Missy, wait, what are you doing? Ashley went to chase after her, but Missy's firm voice stopped Ashley in her tracks. Don't worry, I'm confident nothing will happen here. I'd like a word with this informant. She announced her vague plan as she arrived at the top of the stairs and forcefully grabbed Cyrus by the arm. Cyrus didn't say a word, rather he just made a disgusted face as Missy pushed him into the jazz club. She slammed the door and silence befell the group. Should we be concerned? Missy has a plan. I have faith she will carry it out to execution with the least casualties. Yeah, Miss Ultimate Tactician probably had some cards up her sleeve. Let's just leave her be. Cannon made a rather snide remark, but that said, it seemed like everyone was confident that Missy had a plan, seeing as no one went to pursue her. Ugh, I hate it in here. Why don't we carry on the investigation ourselves? Investigation? Of what? The mansion. We still haven't found a way out of this place. I agree. The third floor opened up just to us last night, so there could be an opportunity for us to escape. Cannon, would you like to join me? Missy proposed traveling in pairs to protect ourselves, so if I may. Sure. With a stern reply, Cannon briskly began escalating the foyer stairs. Excuse us. Forte followed suit, which left me and Ashley in the foyer. We could check out the third floor again, now that the amenities are opened up. And hopefully we'll find those other students. Her voice was low. Ashley was pale with worry. There were signs of her friend Silver being here as well. The helmet and his personal room on the third floor. But the fact that we hadn't run into anyone for 3 days was cause for concern. I didn't want to do anything though. I didn't want to say anything though. Ash, I'm sure we'll find Silva and the others. Ashley's eyes softened. Thanks, Echo. She gave me a smile once more before starting towards the stairs. I began to follow, but something was tugging at me. Hey, Ash. Should we take the gun? Ashley hesitated. I think we should trust Missy. We should trust everyone. It's ridiculous, though. I mean, trust? It's such a lofty, intangible concept. Who could say whether or not someone would uphold it? Echo. Are you saying you won't? Of course not. It's just... Then that's that. Huh? Missy wants to believe in us. And I'm guessing from our observed behavior... From our observed behavior during the trial last night, she has no reason to believe any of us are malicious. In fact, the one person she thinks is most dangerous is Cyrus, and she's dealing with him personally. She placed her trust in us, and now we just have to trust her. It's a give and take. I see. Trust. I pondered the concept as we made our way towards the third floor. Upon arriving at the third floor, Ashley and I saw Cannon and Forte just entering the garage. Ashley and myself revisited the door with Silver's school emblem and tugged at the doorknob. Locked. Figures. She knocked lightly a couple of times, but to no avail. Her eyes went dark. Hey, maybe those other students are just gathered somewhere else in the building. It's a pretty big place. The whole floor was hidden from us for a while, after all. Ashley snapped out of her trance. Her concerned gaze met mine. Yeah, we'll see him soon enough. She lightly caressed the door before returning to my side. Well, let's see if we can't find anything on this floor. Cannon and Forte just went to the garage, so why don't we check the other rooms in the meantime? Let's see. Alright. I think this is actually a good time to stop for now, so... Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss a single notification, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!
You say you wanna try